Today on the Topping Show, Donald Trump negotiates a closed border and a 25% tariff with President of Mexico. Elementary school teacher wishes Dennis Prager pain and suffering. A leftist says that you need to stop shopping in order to hurt the Trump economy. Yes, they really do hate our country that much. Walmart to roll back their DEI initiatives. Bosch to cut hours at over 10,000 employees in Germany. Mark Zuckerberg and Donald Trump meet at Mara Lago. And a nationwide carrot recall. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder released twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. Tease me, see that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15, like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more details. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part podcast, you have Walmart to roll back their DEI programs, which we're seeing more and more with these large companies. Now, this first article comes to us thanks to the LinkedIn, but it also is on the Twitter or X, so we'll follow both stories around here. Now, Andrew Barker was the original writer at LinkedIn News. He says, quote, Walmart has confirmed it will curb some of its diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The country's largest retailer said it will no longer use the acronym DEI in company communications and will wind down the Center for Racial Equity nonprofit that it established in 2020, aka during the George Floyd Summer of Love riots. Walmart also said it will no longer require racial equity training for their staff, aka racist stuff that would have got them sued, and will no longer participate in the annual Human Rights Campaign rankings, which, yep, that's just Marxist DEI stuff. It's not very similar to political things. When they pass a bill, it's usually the antithesis of whatever the bill is called, like the Patriot Act being the most unpatriotic junk on the planet, and the Inflation Reduction Act with Biden and Harris, which caused massive inflation and nothing to do with inflation being reduced. Very similar to the Human Rights Campaign rankings. Now, they also say the company will follow Ford, Lowe's, Boeing, and Harley-Davidson in scaling back its corporate diversity initiatives following pressure from an activist. How rude, Andrew Barker. You don't give credit to Robbie Starbuck, one of the best advocates out there who's pulling back the blinds, so to say, when it comes to these companies doing this. A lot of them are also doing this behind closed doors because I kind of suspect that, well, yeah, the average American doesn't like the fact you're discriminating against some employees. Never forget, Best Buy, ironically, is actually not the best place to actually buy anything because it's usually overpriced and poor quality service. Last year, this calendar year, they were busted for not allowing people to get into managerial programs based on their race. So that was another credit to Robbie Starbuck. Not only did Best Buy discriminate people from managerial programs, and again, I'll never forget, Best Buy, which again, don't shop there, is an instance where in order to qualify for the managerial training course, you had to have three things, which two, I actually agree with. One, you had to be employed there for about a year. Makes sense. They want to make sure they're getting an ROI out of you. You're being productive. Two, you had to be an employee in good standing. Makes sense. You can't be late. Can't be, getting written up for inappropriate things. That makes sense. Then the third requirement for the managerial training program at Best Buy, well, you had to be African American, Asian, or Pacific Islander or Hispanic. Yeah, aka not white. I was surprised there wasn't even more of a pushback against those Minnesota headquartered company, but I partially digress. Now, of course, this went even more viral on X. This is actually credited to Fox News. They posted this, which somehow still in business. Now, Fox News posted on X saying, quote, woke woes, Walmart joins Ford, John Deere, Toyota, and other major companies dishing controversial DEI initiatives. And this has to be Fox's best post of the year. It got 43.9 million views and 22,000 likes, which hilariously, that's probably more views than they get cumulative throughout the whole year for their TV programs, but I partially digress. Now, some top comments coming from the X is Samuel Culper saying, quote, DEI is illegal discrimination based on race and sex. They got away with it when Democrats were in charge because Democrats are above the law. True, got 1.3 thousand likes, and yeah, with Trump in office and logic and common sense back in office, I suspect most companies are going to pull back, if not cancel these initiatives entirely, because, yeah, not only are they immoral, they're also illegal. Finley says, MEI is a new DEI, merit, excellence, and intelligence. I like it. I got 3.5 thousand likes. I literally did like it. I clicked that like button, like how you should at this show as well. Frankie Diego says Jaguar didn't get the memo, getting 1.5 thousand likes. No, they did not. Jaguar's rebranding is as effective as Bud Light. It's bad. Sassitude says DEI is done. It was a stupid concept from the beginning, and any business owner knows that. You always want the best person for the job. It gained 2.1 thousand likes, and true. I also have Mark saying stop discriminating, says DEI must DIE, getting 1,000 likes. You have I Love American News saying truth. And I forget it's that female senator, but she's standing in, what is her name? It eludes me at the moment, but it's an AI image of her in knight's armor standing in front of a women's bathroom, getting 228 likes, because, again, that's another thing they're trying to put a stop to. Oh, at least in DC, they're trying to pass laws that men cannot go in women's bathrooms on Capitol Hill, at least. We'll see how that actually results in any, state by state, or, if there's any federal laws that's passed this year. Or, shoot, let's be honest, in 2025. Donwick says the woke mind virus is being defeated, getting 519 likes. State of the Debate says Walmart's jumping off the woke wagon, getting 535 likes. And again, not financial advice. However, no, I have to say, not financial advice. It is fascinating to see the Walmart stock going up like a rocket. And, not crazy. I think it went up 2% at the news of this being broken. But it's now over $90 per share, which is pretty darn impressive. Again, pretty low profit margins, sub 3%. But, I mean, it adds up in the aggregate. And they are bolstering their e-commerce platform slowly but surely. And Hunter Buck saying Trump gave them all the perfect excuse to cut costs and improve efficiency, getting 124 likes. Yep. California Third World, which, appropriate name, it pretty much is. They said, quote, we can thank Trump for this, getting 615 likes, which, yep. Shane Connor says, good DEI doesn't do anything to help the company or the consumers. It ends up hurting the company in the end, getting 137 likes. Fact check, true. So overall, overwhelming support on, on X, Twitter, LinkedIn. Well, obviously, not obviously. That's much more of a left-wing kind of a social media outlet. I'm on their default just because of my tech company, so I got to be on there posting and looking for prospective clients and advertising and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, on LinkedIn, I'd say about half the people I rate. Interestingly enough, a lot of those people have those BS job titles that, their whole job is DEI, not actually performance-based for the company or improving the quality assurance or product to the end user. But I suspect a lot of them are going to be unemployed soon, or, well, if the government actually becomes more efficient, they won't become a government employee, but I can only think that might be the only thing they're qualified for. It's a roast because low qualifications. But I suspect you'll see more major businesses follow suit. They're going to be worried about lawsuits because the justice system is going to, I suspect, you're going to see a lot more. The ones that don't go away from DEI, the lawsuits will be filed and they'll actually be followed through. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Do you think, this is the end of DEI, or do you think they'll make a comeback? Let me know, because as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Bosch to cut hours for 10,000 workers in Germany as the auto community continues to shift, pun moderately intended. It should be a stick shift. Every car should be by default. However, it's mostly boring EVs, which I was going to say, without massive tariffs, they'll be dominated by China, as Trump would say. Now, this also comes to us thanks to U.S. News and Reuters. They say, quote, Bosch, or Bosch, however you want to pronounce it, kind of like Porsche versus Porsche, says Bosch to cut hours for 10,000 workers in Germany. Now, for those who aren't aware or don't recognize that little logo there, if you pop the hood of most major automobiles, especially when it comes to the electronic components, well, that company is behind it. I mean, traditionally, you have companies like General Motors and Toyota, Honda. They'll make their own engines, and usually they'll make the frames and body panels, but I mean, shoot, between 10 to 30,000 parts in a vehicle, they're going to outsource a fair bit of it. They're one of the major subcontractors and suppliers for the automotive community. Now, according to the article, they say, quote, Robert Bosch, the world's largest car parts supplier, will reduce the working hours and pay of about 10,000 employees in Germany, going beyond the previously announced reductions, and in addition to thousands of jobs being announced that will also be cut. It is the latest sign of challenges facing Germany's auto sector due to weak demand and competition from cheap Chinese rivals, which also you kind of have yourself to blame Germany because you're so weak and pathetic these days. They're carrying the whole EU on their shoulders because, again, the German economy and their innovation, their manufacturing, their software development. Just their economy is so much stronger. Their talent pool for jobs is that much better. The people there just, they know what they're doing. Well, they're carrying the entire EU, and yet they allow the EU to kneecap them and neuter them, saying, "Oh yeah, you can't make these cars because it doesn't hit the tailpipe emission standards. You have to go more EVs." ridiculous. Or it doesn't, this cybersecurity isn't great for the Cayman. We got to kill that. Ridiculous, pathetic Germany. They allow the strongest country in the EU allows the EU to dictate how it operates. Weak and pathetic Germany. Instead of the business blunder of the day, perhaps we should do the country blunder of the day. It would certainly be Germany for becoming so weak. Now, they say, quote, Bosch said that it will also cut up to 5,550 jobs a day after saying it would cut a workforce, working hours to 400. It would cut working hours of 450 staff. Staff mostly on 30 to 40-hour contracts on sites around Germany will have their hours reduced to 35 hours, a spokesman said. Confirmation reported by a DPA news agency. The slowdown in the German car sector has been shaken by Volkswagen, which is an escalating dispute with workers. That's hilarious. With plans to cut plants to reduce plant operations, which, yeah, when you have record low demand for your product, when you having record low demand for your product and you're threatening to go on strike, that might be the weakest position to ever bargain in. And again, VW specifically, and granted, the portfolio I think is very strong in terms of you got, look, I guess strong, I would say, much more highly profitable, entertaining, and fun. You got Porsche, VW owns them. They also own Lamborghini, Bugatti, Ducati. They own a lot of things in the VW portfolio. But the VW specific brand, the actual VW logo and those cars, those have become less and less popular. Truth be told, I know two people who have them. One loves it, the other person hates it because it's been unreliable. And yeah, the CFO, which you never hear this in the business world, the CFO said, oh yeah, we got about 2 years of runway left before we're out of existence, so we can't turn this thing around. Again, just for the Volkswagen brand. And again, it's partially because these Chinese companies are just invading the whole world. BYD is growing exponentially. And without these governments getting their heads out of their rears, or some conspiracy theories, or some theories are the governments just want to destroy their own local economy to bolster China. I mean, it won't be the first time politicians don't have their own people in their on their agenda. They don't actually want to do what's best for their own people. We see that more and more these days, or so it seems. And I don't see how I don't know how it's going to be, really turn around this trend without massive tariffs or repeal all these EV mandates being crammed down everyone's throats. It's ridiculous. And it's really unfortunate because a lot of great people are losing their jobs. Like as we said here, a lot of great people are reducing their job hours. And they kind of are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Maybe Germany will grow a pair and tell the EU to go jump off a cliff, or I don't know if they have. Well, they got some cliffs over there. That'd be an appropriate metaphor, so to say. But yeah, it's rough. Hopefully they're able to find gainful employment with the competitors. But let me know. Do you think Germany will actually, stand up after being on their knees for so long? And do you think there's anything that could really prevent China from just taking over the entire automotive planet in terms of market share when they have unparalleled competitiveness when it comes to cost, and not just cost of labor, but research development? China's notorious for copy paste, aka stealing technology. And let's be honest, EVs are basically glorified smartphones on wheels. Much easier to copy that as opposed to traditional gas engine manufacturing. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the cultural part podcast, you have an elementary school teacher wishing Dennis Prager suffering pain. And this is yet another reason. What is this reason? Reason number 9,758,485,302 to homeschool your kids. Because, yep, yet another mentally deranged, mentally vacuous public school teacher. And it's fascinating how they keep adding up. If only they actually stuck to teaching. Perhaps that's a crazy concept of the 90s or priors. Although fascinating, ever since the Department of Education was founded, test scores have gone lower and lower. But I partially digress. This comes to us thanks to Libs at TikTok, when she says, quote, same ISD 916 school employee. And she says, quote, Diane, definitely going to butcher this, not intentionally, Diane Kirschdester, the elementary school library media specialist. Sounds like I made a BS job, don't you think? The library media specialist? You mean the librarian? But I digress. Let's see here. Yeah, library specialist. That sounds fancy right there. At ISD 916 school, who wished a painful suffering on Dennis Prager, was also reportedly arrested in 2013 for DUI and careless driving. This person is responsible for your kids. There you can see her mugshot, which, not a pretty sight. Well, I was going to say, we already knew that, but yep. Yet another, fascinating how you don't see the same rhetoric or bombastic behavior of people in the middle or in libertarian or on the right. They're never wishing pain or suffering on their political opponents. I mean, shoot, the people I know who hated Biden just said they hated his policies, so he's mentally, basically vacuous, and he should be spending time in a retirement home and having fun with his grandkids. No, I didn't see any big reports of people wishing him death or pain or suffering. And we would know because that's all they would talk about for, in nauseum on all the mainstream media. Didn't happen. Fascinatingly enough, it seems to just come from the tolerant left. Now, this got about 250,000 views and 1.7 thousand likes. One of the first comments, well, I'm a little biased. I think this first comment is actually coming from a gentleman who's handsome and brilliant. He's me, that's the pun. So follow me on X at The Topping Show, in which I say, quote, of course, more from the tolerant left, giving public school, I bet they give her a raise, getting 11 likes. Although it's all about quality over quantity. Those 11 likes were the coolest, most awesome people on the planet. I'm a little biased, but I'll say it. I'll go out on a limb. One of the first comments comes from a British broker saying, mention that, an evil, hateful leftist, getting 3 likes. Stephen Koster says, quote, teacher used to be an honorable, respectable people. Now they're mostly seen to be perverts, getting 9 likes. 10, they're going up like a stock right before our eyes. Which, is creepy how many teachers in public schools feel like it's their responsibility to sexually come out to the kids and preach, their identity and teach them about perverse things. I mean, back in my day, back in the old era, the 1990s, when gas was cheap and the government was slightly smaller. Well, wasn't in debt either to the extent we are now. But yeah, back then the teachers just taught the actual curriculum. They didn't go off script. You didn't even know your teacher was more than married. Like, you almost thought your teacher was basically a robot that they put in the school classroom closet on the weekends. Like, they never talked about their personal life. They talked about math, science, history, and that was that. Now, dear God, I can't think of a single upside of sending your kid to a public school. Don't get me wrong, there are a couple good teachers. I know 1 or 2 good teachers. But on average, is it worth the risk? Especially when you look at the cases of abuse. People think the churches are bad. The public schools are statistically speaking, much worse, much less safer for your children. I'll try to keep this moderately family-friendly of a show. Now, you also have Howie saying, quote, she is despicable for saying something like that. Very sad, getting 7 likes. Michael Gunderson says, the lack of character by these people explains a lot about their results, getting 1 like. Sassy Cupcake says, what a despicable loser, getting 4 likes. Let's see. He says, so they locked down their ex now, getting 2 likes, which is that's a sure sign that your ideals are indefensible when your only response is just censor and block everyone. Interestingly enough, again, you see this from leftists. They famously will block everyone from being able to reply, or they'll only let people reply that they give mentions to. Yeah, the side of tolerance, my tookus, so to say. Ridiculous. Yeah. So, let's see. When we pull up what she says, she said, when Dennis Prager, and pulling up the actual article, when she talks about Dennis Prager, says, yep, no, it's very painful, so and agonizing, when they were talking about his condition. Yep. Yeah, and maybe they will give her a raise. Who the heck knows? But I was going to say, at this point, I'm not surprised. I mean, public schools, don't get me started. And let me know. I mean, can you think of a single reason to send your child to a public school? Now, don't get me wrong. I know it can be difficult, especially if you're on a single family income and cost of living is not getting any easier. Hopefully, it will soon. We'll see. But I mean, shoot, I can't help but think if I had the privilege or the blessing of a child in my life and family, I mean, damn, I'd be willing to work twice as hard just to make sure they didn't have to go to a public school. Unless I really knew the curriculum, more accurately, I was in maybe a small town where you actually trust the teachers, you knew the curriculum. It's another sign of perversion by the teachers' unions. They want to hide the school curriculum. They don't want you to know what they're teaching. Yeah, we won't even get started with California, what the teachers are doing over there. But I partially digress. Let me know your thoughts are in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have leftists saying to stop shopping in order to hurt the Trump economy. Yes, they are that mentally vacuous and hate our country that much. They would rather us all suffer by attempting to stop shopping. Now, spoiler alert, with the exception of perhaps a Subaru, I don't think this person is buying anything. A little automotive pun right there, or burn, so to say. I still can't believe they killed the WRX XTI, one of the best cars out there. Of course, they killed it, as well as most of the options for manual transmissions. Yeah, the BRZ, sure, but that's about, I was about to say, as much horsepower as my lawnmower. It has about the same as my Honda Civic Si, which, let's be honest, it has horsepower, allegedly. Not great and fun in the corners, but I partially digress. Now, this also comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, in which she says, quote, TikTokers suggest to stop buying stuff and just get stuff for free in order to crash Trump's economy, which, yeah, another sign of a Marxist or someone who's, bragging about getting stuff for free. That's another sign no man would ever do that. If you're at the hardest, lowest moment in your life, you may accept temporary assistance, but you accept that out of humble. You're humble when that happens. You don't brag about it, and you don't. A real man doesn't want that. They will, depending on circumstances, they will accept it. Though obviously, well, spoiler alert, if you're not watching on Rumble or YouTube, if you can see from this individual, it's not the pinnacle of masculinity by any means. Actually, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna guess androgynous or non-binary. Now, you know it's the leftist because very similar how toads kind of signal that they're predators with the weird looking color skin. This person has, what is this, teal hair color that's short and what kind of pink rimmed glasses and, of course, a t-shirt that has mushrooms on it. I'm actually surprised the t-shirt doesn't say White Dudes for Harris or just a Democrat logo. Now, thankfully, it's only about 17 seconds of pain, so it won't be that bad. And I should have put a visual disclaimer, a visual warning, because this individual is now on the screen, which is viscerally disgusting for most. And keep in mind, that's coming from me, so that's saying something. I don't have much of a soapbox to stand on in that regard. But yeah, let's hear. Maybe a little surprise. No, I am surprised actually. There's no cowering, which I have a conspiracy theory. Perhaps this might be the people who do not want the world to populate, that they're telling women and youngsters that it's cool or attractive to have a cowring on your nose. It is antithesis. It is not. No, there's one guy on the planet. No, maybe two guys in the whole world who thinks that's attractive. I don't know why gals keep doing this to their face. It's ridiculous and juvenile, and it is even more than one ear piercing. I start to get a little sus, as youth might say, thanks to the Urban Dictionary. I know that is short for suspicious, I think. But yeah, let's hear what it has to say. It looks like what's their hashtag? Do they have it there? So is the girl? Is Joel Red Driver? That's the individual's name. But let's hear what it has to say.
Another way to protest MAGA cheaply is to not shop. Don't shop. Buy everything used. And see if you can get it for free. Don't shop. Crash the economy.
That's how mentally vacuous these people are. Crash the economy. Now, spoiler alert, buying stuff used, although I don't agree with this practice, in most states, those items are still taxed. So you still be supporting the local economy and the federal economy, with those businesses paying federal taxes as well, and employee taxes, payroll taxes. So, I mean, even if you buy, the only way to really potentially have a negative impact would be shopping used on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. But even then, those people would take that money and they would go out and buy products and services. So it's not exactly, well, let's be honest, you don't expect a lot of mental articulation or brilliance from this individual, not to judge a book by this cover. But after looking at the cover and hearing the book, or this individual, maybe say we read the first couple chapters, it's mentally vacuous. Like, why would you want bad things for your country? Like, no matter who's in charge, like, even Trump, like, even when Biden got elected, people wanted it to be good. Like, that would have been great if the economy kept the trajectory and he didn't remove all of Trump's policies. I mean, that'd been great. And Biden had the easiest opportunity on the planet. If Biden just sat down and did nothing, more accurately, not allow the shadow campaign or his handlers to do anything, the economy would be great. There would be no issue at the southern border. Remember, Biden and Kamala removed over like 45 executive orders from Trump that caused the biggest border crossing of illegals in our lifetime? Yeah, it's ridiculous. And obviously, the economy crashed. 40-year record high inflation is ridiculous because of the ineptitudes of the administration. But how much do you have to hate the core of your country to want bad things to happen? Because, I mean, when the economy suffers, everyone suffers. And this individual hates Trump so much that, I mean, I guess because the voice, we know it's a she. Again, 99% chance Subaru owner. Not judging, just fascinating to see the demographics of, what is it, the Outlander, the bastardized looking sedan thing. It's not a sports car, so my level of caring is pretty low, but I partially jest. They want to crash the economy. They want everyone to suffer because their gal didn't win. Now, maybe I'm alone in this assessment. Maybe all the comments are giving her accolades, saying something to the effect of, "You go, girl," or "Yeah, let's stop shopping." Funny enough, again, not to talk smack about her, though I will, actually, now think about it. This same individual is like the same gal who says we shouldn't have casual sex because we can no longer kill our kids. Which, again, depending on where you live, if you want to do that, they have places like that. It's called Minnesota, where that's all the way up to birth. You can have an abortion. That's what the people there wanted. That's how they voted. And that's what they get there. This is the same individual that would you know, they would threaten to go on a sex strike, and it's like, yeah, there's already record low demand for what that would be with you. I can't help but wonder how much does this person really contribute to the economy in terms of their purchasing. Now that being said, maybe it's a pot calling the kettle black because I'm a terrible barometer for the economy, unless it's related to my business or it's a little toy, like a little reward I get for achieving a business goal. I really don't buy much except for like food and water from Walmart. So I'm a terrible barometer for the economy. I'm just pretty frugal by default. But yeah, I partially digress. Let's look at the comments here. Now, again, Boy Pretty Viral got about 1 million views and 6.5 thousand likes. One of the first comments comes from Gunther Eagleman. He said, quote, "These people are dumb AF," getting 2.3 thousand likes. There's a TikTok responded saying typical live, getting 738 likes. Also have Ian and Miles Strong saying, "That's not how anything works," getting 427 likes. There's a TikTok said, "Shh, don't tell her," getting 270 likes, which, again, yeah, that wouldn't... just to have the services done on her Subaru, she's going to support the economy because those are workers there. You also have suppliers. You're going to have the new rotors that need to be ordered, the new oil filters. So, just having her Subaru serviced, she'll have to buy those products. Although maybe she's one of those irresponsible people who don't service their vehicles, which is ridiculous. Masculine Base says, "Trump's economy is strong and no amount of TikTok nonsense is stopping it," getting 439. Let's make it 440 likes. Annette Phoenix says, "Will there ever be a point where the TikToker doesn't automatically mean lunatic?" Getting 609 likes. I don't think so. Kind of the bread and butter over there. America Memed says, "Oh no, how will we ever recover?" A+ for marketing. They did in fact respond in meme form, and it's the GIF from Top Gear, or GIF from Top Gear, depending on how you pronounce it, where he says, "Oh no, anyway," getting 437 likes. Old School Eddie says, it can get all it can get all it needs in prison," getting 256 likes, which Lives TikTok responded saying, "Even blue hair dye," getting 230 likes, which, I'm trying to think, have you ever met someone who's not mentally deranged who had bright neon hair? Like back in my day, it was a rare thing. We actually called it wacky hair day in schools. Was it 6th grade? It was a special occasion. There's one day a year where you can go all crazy with your hair, and of course, like my Honda Civic, I colored my hair green. I'm sure there's not Polaroid, an actual printed out picture of that somewhere in the memory box. But yeah, like normally, have you ever met someone where they have neon colored hair and they surprise you with eloquence and brilliance and articulation of ideals? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's very improbable. You also have Paul Zuzupa saying, quote, "This TikToker has everything right to not buy things. It's called freedom. She had it under Trump last time, and she have it this time again," getting 115 likes. Livercat Media TM says, quote, "Imagine wanting to see your country fail. As much as we despise Joe Biden and Democrats, not once did I ever wish he failed or wanted to see our economy crash. These people are absolutely retarded," getting 130 likes. And perhaps getting a strike on the video. I forget how the YouTube is. I think they can all call that the R word, which is actually not a great description because they also have the abuse R word, so hard to keep track with all the newspeak these days. Again, reference to the brilliant book 1984 by George Orwell. Soul crushing when you realize how much worse the real world is compared to the book, but a read everyone should have at least once. Planet of Memes did not respond in meme form, but nevertheless, the alleged Planet of Memes says, quote, "I'm sure that's how life works," getting 54 likes. Let's see. The Heart Speaks says January 2025, and it's a gravestone with a blue wig, and it says, "Here lies wokeness, 2015 to 2024. That got 1.3 thousand likes, which, I hope these people wake up to the sanity. I think a lot of them might just crack in January where they just can't comprehend it, and they just break down and cry like the mental intellect of a child that many of them are. The Modern Federalist says, quote, "Let me get this straight. Liberals say to stop having sex, stop shopping, leave the country. This sure is some pretty wild, weird form of patriotism. Only conversely, they hate us and should leave if they hate it so much," getting 149 likes. Let's see here. No one's sticking up for this leftist. Let's see. Survivor says, quote, "These people seem to have their faces permanently plastered in a frown. It's sad," getting 11 likes. Anthony Galley says, "Her replies are filled with women asking if food counts," getting 67 likes, which, well, depending on what state you live in, there is deltas or differences in tax implications where if you buy food at a grocery store, so if it's grocery food, that is taxed much lesser rate than compared to like restaurant food. But either way, it's taxed, and either way, you're supporting those. I mean, whoever's selling it is a business that you're supporting. They need to buy supplies. They have employees. So yeah, you're still supporting the economy. And it's funny how I'm sure the comment section of that gal is like 99.99% women and 0.01% men who, let's be honest, are white dudes who voted for Kamala. Let's do one or two more. Hugo Ball says, enjoy your last free government handouts. Turquoise Karen getting 61 likes. Which, we'll see. Trump needs to. I mean, they need to cut pretty much every federal handout we give out these days, including Social Security. That's the definition of a Ponzi scheme. Unfortunately, people politically on the left and right, I don't suspect will ever truly cut back on a lot of these welfare programs because it'd be politically unpopular and you lose mass support. Because there's so many people addicted to the drug that is free government handouts, which is not free, it's just stolen from hardworking people and given to other people. And again, both sides of the aisle promise free stuff. It's getting ridiculous at this point. And I hope they actually, I mean, when it comes to actually doing good in terms of helping people the most optimally, I think we should have no government handouts. You do it on a local level with your community or with your church organization. And those people, if you give them something, they have an incentive. They feel a burden, they feel a responsibility rather to pay it back, which you don't feel when it's the faceless just government giving you money. And I think that's a much better way to help people long term because they'll get off the assistance. But that's just my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation, gotta be 3 cents. But let me know, do you think if this gal stops buying Subaru hats, and I'm just kidding partially, do you think this person and the leftists will be able to destroy the economy because they stop buying stuff? Let me know. I mean, shoot, the blue dye industry alone, I mean, that's got to be tripling their sales past couple years with all the purchases. But let me know your thoughts are in the comments because, as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Trump and Mark Zuckerberg apparently meeting at Mara Lago. Now, this comes to us thanks to Benny Johnson, which he says, quote, breaking, Stephen Miller confirms Mark Zuckerberg met with Trump at Mara Lago. He said, pull that up here too. Mark Zuckerberg has been very clear about his desire to be a supporter of and a participant in the change we are seeing, which maybe, or he's just scared shitless he's going to be put in jail for his crimes. This is thanks to Fox News, which somehow still in business. Pretty surprised there.
Stephen, real quick, Politico is reporting that Mark Zuckerberg was at Mara Lago today meeting with President Trump. Can you confirm that?
Yes, that's correct. And Mark Zuckerberg has been very clear about his desire to be a supporter of and a participant in this change that we're seeing all around America, all around the world with this reform movement that Donald Trump is leading. Mark Zuckerberg, like so many business leaders, understand that President Trump is an agent of change, an agent of prosperity.
Right.
And so business leaders, CEOs, everywhere, they want to be an element, a supporter, a booster of making our economy prosperous, delivering for American workers, and making sure that America is the most powerful, wealthiest, freest nation on the face of the earth. So we'll see what comes of that. Yeah. And Mark, obviously, he has his own interests, and he has his own company, and he has his own agenda, but he's made clear that he wants to support the national renewal of America under President Trump's leadership.
Good. It's good for the president. He turned the page with some talk show hosts on another channel, and he might be maybe getting over the fact that Zuckerbucks really impacted the 2020 election Or
maybe Mark Zuckerberg is just scared shitless about being sued into oblivion or jailed. I mean, never forget, and it's fascinating that Mark admitted this out loud, the U.S. government coerced and forced Facebook to censor Americans, which, again, is illegal, unconstitutional, mentally vacuous. It's the worst. I mean, completely viscerally destroying the First Amendment. It's disgusting. I mean, there should have been more of a public outcry. Unfortunately, it seemed like half the nation was actually supportive of this disgusting censorship, perhaps only because their ideals are so mentally vacuous and, inept. But yeah, I can't help but think Mark Zuckerberg is probably wondering, will I be thrown in jail for 1, election interference, and 2, for working with the government to censor Americans, especially during the pandemic? I mean, depending on your philosophies on certain things you put in your bodies or don't put in your bodies, a lot of people are saying Facebook has deaths on their hands. I wish I could elaborate more, and perhaps I will on Rumble, because YouTube is terrible. Now, this got about 800,000 views and 16,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from well, I'm a little biased. Perhaps this gentleman is pretty handsome and brilliant. I think I'll read his comment. Huh. That's a joke because it's me. Hashtag the topping show on X, which I say, quote, or Mark is worried he'll be prosecuted for doing the government bidding by censoring citizens during COVID. And I got 8 likes. AKA says, Mark tries to interfere with every election, and now he wants to be friends. Hilarious. Getting 1.1 thousand likes. Flamin007 says, Mark Zuckerberg needs to go to jail for election interference, and once he pays his price to society, we can consider a place for him. Not until then. Getting 51 likes. Jason Allen says, culture war has been won. This is surrender. He wants to be on the right side of history. I say we give him the benefit of the doubt. Having another social media giant on the side of more free speech is a good thing. Got 34 likes. You shouldn't give him the benefit of the doubt. Mark Zuckerberg admitted, he also covered up in terms of election interference, he admitted, oh yeah, the FBI said the Hunter laptop story was fake, so we should censor it. And they did. Spoiler alert, it turned out to be real, and that would have been a difference maker in the 2020 election. When they did polls, granted these are small sample sizes, between 1,000 and 2,000 people, they asked Democrats, if you knew about the Hunter Biden laptop story, would you have voted for differently, either Trump or Libertarian, in 2020? And more than 11% of the people in the sample sizes said yes. That would have been enough to swing the election. Now, you also have MAGA Kitty. Well, disappointing. The profile picture is an attractive lady, not in fact a picture of a cat with a MAGA hat, which, again, that would have been more appropriate for someone named MAGA Kitty, but I partially digress. She says, quote, yeah, he still censors everyone on his defunct Facebook. Yeah, okay. I don't know, it got 11 likes. It's not that defunct. I use it for mostly family, and I think I have a page for I do have a page for the show on there. I don't use it much, but yeah, I still know a couple people who use the Facebook. Primetime Headline says, the only way to play the long game, gain 1 like. Cetra says, I don't understand why Steven would say such a thing. Zuckerberg is a weasel, and he clear desire to support and participate in change is not genuine. If Mark was genuine, he would have endorsed Trump after the first assassination attempt. True. Getting 130 likes. Let's see. Wall Street Ape says, Mark Zuckerberg employed half of the CIA to run the Trust and Safety Censorship Department, as well as other departments. He belongs to prison, not meeting Mara Lago. Getting 576 likes. Edmo says, Zuck is trying to cover his own ass, so when special counsels are appointed and hearings started and subpoenas go flying, again, he'll look like he's actually a good guy. Getting 243 likes, and yeah, I tend to kind of be more of that belief area. Just Here for the Truth says, at this point, he just tries everything to stay out of jail. All the crap he pulled, if he doesn't kiss up, he's in trouble. Getting 309 likes. So yeah, there's a couple of people saying, welcome to the Trump train, welcome to the team. There's even more people questioning Mark's, questioning Mark's authenticity. Let's see, someone actually doing a screenshot of how Smith & Wesson had their page suspended. Yeah, most of these companies are pretty disgusting. I mean, one of my favorite companies, not a paid endorsement, but I mean, someday I'd love to own a firearm by Staccato called the XC. It's a competitive 2011 good old 9mm firearm. But I mean, that company had their LinkedIn page just gone. They suspended the page because they claimed the company was trying to sell guns. They weren't, and the employment page was gone on LinkedIn. And I think they put on like a probation of like after 4 or 5 months, then the page was back. But imagine all your employees like, oh yeah, it says I don't work anywhere. Or it says Staccato, but there's no company page to link it to. And again, the censorship, and it only happens one side of the political aisle. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, personally, I'm not buying it. But let me know, do you think Mark Zuckerberg authentically wants to be on the Trump train? Do you think he really believes in free speech? Let me know what the thoughts are in the comments, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Donald Trump and the president of Mexico agreeing to close the border, and he's going to slap on a tariff of 25%. This comes to us thanks to, Donald Trump himself, as well as Colin Rugg on X. Now, Colin says, quote, breaking, Trump says Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has agreed to close the southern border by stopping migrant caravans after he threatens her with 25% tariffs. Sheinbaum also agreed to create a plan for stopping the inflow of drugs into the U.S. Here, going up to the Trump tweet there. The quote, just had a wonderful conversation with new president of Mexico, Claudia. She has agreed to stop migration through Mexico and into the United States, effectively closing our southern border. We also talked about what can be done to stop massive drug inflow into the U.S., and the U.S. consumption of these drugs is a very productive conversation, which I'm a little disappointed. I thought he was going to do both. Let me see here. Yeah, it should have been more than that, 25% tariffs, but a little disappointing in that regard. But yeah, hasn't even been sworn into office, and he's done more to fix our country in the past couple of days than Biden and Harris done in the past couple of years, which Yeah, the bar is pretty damn low, but still pretty impressive. Got about 1 million views and 19,000 likes. Going back to the comment section, one of the first ones comes from Gunther Eagleman, who says, quote, "This is why Trump uses tariffs. These countries get in line quickly," getting 1.4 thousand likes, which, when you consider who's the biggest purchaser of the exports of Mexico, yeah, they would probably, there's a big upside to them listening to us and keeping us happy. Because, yeah, if we were to slow that down or stop it, their economy would be in a rough spot. Now, you also have Beast Electrician, who says, quote, "Trump is ending the border crisis before he even entered the White House. Kamala can't even answer why they left the southern border open for nearly 4 years." It got 260, let's make it 282 likes, actually. Gantry Geaver says tariffs are leverage, getting 86 likes. True. Phantom Platypus? Interesting. Seems too suspicious. Can a platypus really type? Maybe like a monkey, you could train to do that? I'm being kidding, of course. This alleged Phantom Platypus says, quote, "The current administration should take notes about how things get done." Getting 42 likes. Paul Zupa says, quote, "This is easy. Oh, Trump isn't even sworn in yet." Winning, getting 53, so getting 54 likes. Cash Loren says, "We keep winning. I'll never get tired of winning." It also shows Kamala and Biden intentionally facilitated the invasion of our border. Drew, getting 8 likes. The Traditional Rebellion says, "Already fixing the madness," and it says, "Under Joe Biden, 10 million plus illegal migrants, 30 tons of deadly fentanyl, 360 people on the terror watch list have entered the U.S. Getting 15 likes. Though I like infographics. Let's make it 16 likes there. Let's see. Florida 1 says, Trump working and getting things done before he takes his office. Meanwhile, Biden is starting to drag us into World War III. Getting 37, so I get 38 likes. See, a lot of people having the Photoshop picture of a keyboard, but instead of saying enter, it says deport, which kind of funny. Let's see. Not too many contrarian statements here. The Traditional Rebellion also says, "Can't wait for this meme to become obsolete." It's the meme of a hand diving into water to help a drowning hand. The first with the hand, reaching out to help someone is called the U.S. government, and it's trying to help the other hand that's labeled illegal migrants. The other hand is the U.S. government flipping off the hand that needs to be saved. It's called taxpayers. That got 4 likes. Let's make it 5. Yeah, when you think about all the money the government steals from us, how much do taxpayers really get these days? It is. If people are really, really good at math, it'd be a revolution tomorrow. It's just unfathomable. 40% stolen from the federal government. If you have a state income tax, maybe 10% there. You have sales tax, property tax, telecom tax, alcohol tax, tobacco tax, gasoline tax, capital gains tax, estate tax. It's just ridiculous. At the end of the day, of every dollar we earn, how much is it really our own? Ridiculous. A lot of the memes to the keyboard that's just saying deport. So I was gonna say, we'll see how much. So Mexico is making some commitment. We'll see how Mexico really does, and we'll see if the border ever really does become secure. And then we'll see on what scale of complexity will Trump actually be able to deport a lot of the illegals. It'll be interesting to see. But let me know what your thoughts are, because as always, it'll be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have a nationwide carrot recall, which not good, because I usually buy a couple pounds a week. Now, this comes to us thanks to Eating Well, in which they say, quote, "Nationwide recalls on ground beef, carrots, and more must be aware." There you see a little picture there of all the fun things being recalled. This is by Daniel D. Angeles, who's a writer over there. And they say, quote, "Organic carrots. There's a global recall on carrots distributed by Grimway Farms." That's spelled Grimmway. Again, Grimway Farms. Due to an E. coli outbreak that caused nearly 40 illnesses, including 1 death. The recall includes, this isn't good, I guess selfishly for me it's good because I don't use none of the capital to go for the fancy organic stuff, but not good if you did. In this case, the recall includes organic whole carrots as well as organic baby carrots sold at Costco, Target, Trader Joe's, Walmart, Wegmans, Whole Foods, and more across the U.S. The recall is also impacting Canada, Colombia, Hong Kong, Puerto Rico, and the United Arab Emirates. They note that the E. coli bacteria can cause severe infection, including symptoms like stomach cramps, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, fever. If you have any of the recalled carrots in hand, dispose of them immediately or return them to your place of purchase for a refund, which I can't help but think the take rate is less than 1% in terms of who actually has the time, who cares enough to actually take the product all the way back to the store and, heaven forbid, wait 10, 20, 30 minutes at the customer service line. I have a theory they almost have inept. Sometimes you're overwhelmed, sometimes a resource allocation issue, but I swear, sometimes the debate if some of these stores just purposely have slow employees working the return counter to discourage people from actually returning products. Now, thankfully, the silver lining from the situation is, as we report now, no one has lost their life due to these organic carrots. Again, you got 40 people who reported illness from it, so again, that's not good. I apologize for that. It actually says 1 death, so, but still, it could be a lot worse. I know it's sometimes a low bar to live with, but yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to really trust Grimway Farms again, which, again, it's already not a good name for a health product or a food product. It sounds pretty grim. But yeah, definitely one of those things where it's not worth the risk. If you have it in your fridge, throw it out immediately. I mean, tell all your friends who, if you know your friends are, buy a lot of vegetables, kind of let them know it's always better to be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to these type of food products. But yeah, they didn't get ahead of this recall. Unfortunately, it's already too late for someone. They've already passed away from this and more people have been ill. So it wasn't this, especially got ahead of the problem when it comes to recall, where some companies are pretty good about, they'll have a recall, they'll make sure they nip it in the butt, so to say, and they'll announce it well before anyone's been negatively, detrimentally impacted by it. But yeah, I gotta say, Grimway Farms, the fact that you're late to the game, there are people suffering from your food recall, and who knows if you're ever going to trust you again. I gotta say, Grimway Farms, you're certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.